need a hero. I need a hero. Building unique and fun commander decks. It's kinda what I do. What's up, boys? I've been spewing and pooing for 2 weeks straight, and we're finally back. 15 pounds lighter, no face, because I look like a pale ghost and my room looks like crap right now. That's what you get, buddy. Today we're going to be covering 4 decks, from a mono blue secret commander deck, a deck that runs all the pingers, a keyword soup deck, and a partner deck. What a lineup! Get ready for some bangers. If any of those sound extra interesting to you, we have timestamps on the timeline below. Cool. Now keep in mind, I do have quote-unquote deck lists for these down below in the description, but they are not complete decks. A couple of them do have 100 cards. Don't go out and buy these. These are deck concepts and ideas, alright? Refine them a little bit, talk to each other in the comments, figure out some new pickups, and then maybe approach the deck, alright? Alright, cool. Now make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, check out all the links in the description. Let's get into this. Deck number 1 is based around Shuri, Wakandan Inventor, being 1 in a blue for a 2/1 artifact. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and you can pay 1 tapper. Target artifact you control becomes a copy of a second target artifact you control until end of turn. Except it isn't legendary. Activate only as a sorcery. First off, you're telling me I get an Ethereum Sculptor with more upside in the command zone? Yeah. I think I'll take that. But like I said, this is a secret commander deck, and I wanted to play with one of my favorite creatures of all time, Precursor Golem, but unfortunately Precursor Golem isn't a legendary, so hence the whole secret commander thing. If you don't know what Precursor Golem does, it's 5 for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you make 2 other 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, and whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell that targets only a single golem, that player copies that spell for each other golem. Each copy targets a different one of those golems. So if someone lightning bolts my Precursor Golem, every golem in play also gets targeted by a lightning bolt. But it also works the other way, so if we play something like Tygum's Strike on a golem we control, every golem will get +2/+0 and cannot be blocked until end of turn, which could honestly be a win con because I'm thinking this is going to be a golem tribal deck. Run some recursion like Emery Lurker of the Lock or Dollhouse of Horrors, so if somebody gets rid of our Precursor Golem, we have a way to kind of get it back in a way. Some protection like Dive Down, so if someone tries to target one of our golems with removal, we have like a counterplay for that. Because again, the whole Precursor Golem thing of like every spell getting copied for every golem, it's really fragile, so protection's probably going to be pretty necessary in this list. But what I really like about this is with Shuri, we can use her to turn target artifact we control into another copy of Precursor Golem. So then if we play a spell that targets a golem, it'll get copied twice for each golem we control. Run some tribal stuff like Coat of Arms for all your golems, and of course some tutors because this is a secret commander deck. So some stuff like Scour for Scrap, Transit Mage, Fabricate, those are all going to be great in here. Again, this is not a full deck. It is 100 cards, but it's not a completed deck. I've played this like once or twice, and it did not go good either time. But I do think there's something here, and the idea is very cool. So if you agree with that, let me know down in the comments what you would add or take out of this list. Let's move on to the next unique deck idea. Okay, all right. I'm going to be honest. Less so unique, more so fun and hilarious. The commander is Kuja, Genome Sorcerer, being 2 a black and a red for a 3/4. At the beginning of your end step, create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then if you control 4 or more wizards, you transform Kuja into a 4/6 that makes it so whenever a wizard you control deals damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage. Now, why this is fun and kind of unique is we're not trying to flip Kuja. The whole point of the deck is to keep Kuja on his front side, all right? So why are we trying to do that? Because it actually leads to a lot of fun shenanigans. So once you hit 4 wizards, Kuja has to flip. So you'll make 1 black mage, you'll make another black mage, and then on that 3rd one, he'll flip. So the idea of the deck is we're using that 4th black mage that we make as sacrifice fodder so that we can keep Kuja on the front side, and we can trigger some death pings. We can use cards like Village Rites to sack that mage and draw cards to then trigger something like Blood Artist. And since Kuja's going to stay on his front side and consistently make us a 0/1 black wizard on the end of our turn, we can utilize cards like Impact Tremors to get an ETB ping, and you'll kind of get what I'm going for here. That's right, we're trying to ping opponents from all directions, alright? We've got the aforementioned ETB pings with stuff like Impact Tremor. We run Professor Onyx to turn all of our instants and sorceries into 2 life loss. We run stuff like Blood Artist for Death Ping. What about Goblin Bombardment? To sack something and ping. Throw like a Anawan the Ruin Sage or like Ruthless Winnower to like have everybody sack something at the beginning of each player's upkeep so you can keep your last 4th wizard off the board as well as keeping opponents' boards clean. All the while triggering all these different kinds of pings. I don't know, it's pretty good. Again, less unique than the other 3 decks on this list for sure, but definitely fun. So here it is. Let's move on to the 3rd unique deck of today's video. So these last 2 are very loose deck ideas. I don't have a lot here. It's just something that in my gut I'm like, this feels kind of cool and I feel like the community could help me finish this. So this deck is based around Kasla the Broken Halo, being 3, a blue, a red, and a white for a 5/4. Convoke, so your creatures can help cast it. Flying, Vigilance, Haste. When you cast another spell that has Convoke, scry 2, then draw a card. Okay. I think she would make a very cool keyword soup commander. And if you don't know what that is, it's a deck that runs a bunch of creatures with a ton of keywords and then runs a card like, I don't know, Odric Lunarch Marshal to give your creatures you control all the keywords of other creatures you control. So just with Kasla being on the battlefield, all your creatures will get Flying, Vigilance, Haste off Odric, which is very, very good. And then there's also just some fun, unique cards that play into this strategy. You've got the other Odric Blood Cursed, which also cares about keywords. Creatures like Zatalpo, which are just keyword soup stapled onto a giant creature. Or creatures like the Wandering Rescuer, which will give all of your creatures a static keyword like Hexproof. And I feel like there's a really cool deck here. And since we're running Kasla, there's obviously room for a Convoke sub-theme. So stuff like Triplicate Spirit, make 3 1/1 white spirits for 6. But if we're running like a token sub-theme now, like a keyword soup token sub-theme, that seems like it wouldn't be that bad. Board wipes like Hour of Reckoning wouldn't be bad in that type of list either. And if we're playing into the whole token thing, we could run stuff like Intangible Virtue, which not only buffs our tokens, but also adds another keyword to them, which, you know, pretty good in a keyword soup deck. Again, we've only got like 40 cards on the deck list for this one, so if you want to check this one out and suggest some cards down in the comments, that would help out a ton. But yeah, that's about it for this one. Let's move on to the final unique deck of today's video. This is our most shallow deck on the video, okay? I don't have a lot going yet, but the idea is definitely there, okay? So the commanders are the partner commander Cecily and Othelm. So Cecily Haunted Mage is 1, a blue, a black, and a red for a 3/5. Your maximum hand size is 11. Whenever Cecily Haunted Mage attacks, you may draw a card and lose 1 life. Then if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. With the partner Othelm being 1, a green, and a white for a 2/2. Pay 2, tap it, choose target creature card that was put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped. So we're kind of playing into both lanes, like instants and sorceries and creatures, which I just think is kind of cool in a 5-color list. But the idea here is to run a Legends Matters deck, but not just any legends, the legends that partner with other legends and then tutor that other legend out of the deck when you play them. So something like Halden Avid Arcanist and Paco Arcane Retriever. So if you'll read Halden, when he enters the battlefield, target player may put Paco into their hand from their library, then shuffle. So when you play Halden, you get to tutor out Paco, or if you play Paco, you get to tutor out Halden. I think this plays into Cecily's ability pretty good, because every time we're playing one of these legends, it's immediately replacing itself in our hand, so keeping an 11-card hand size once we get there will be much easier, so I think that's great. And then Altham plays into it amazing, because if any of our legends end up dying in play, we can just use Altham to get them back into play. Run some Legends Matters stuff like Heroes Podium to interact with all these legends that are tutoring out other legends, and you know, that seems pretty good. And even with the whole Cecily interacting with instants and sorceries and the deck seeming to be mostly legendary creatures, you can still be able to cast really powerful instants and sorceries out of your hand for free with Cecily. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of okay with playing an Urza's Ruinous Blast for free. Or like a Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Yeah, I'll play one of those for free. Why not? Again, this list literally has 7 cards in it right now, so if you want to click it and check those 7 cards out, they're pretty much all the ones I mentioned. But I could use some suggestions on this one. For sure. All these, actually. So if you have any suggestions for any of the decks we talked about today, that would be great. It's great to be back. I was super sick for 2 weeks. I still have a few symptoms, but I'm pretty sure we're getting out of the woods here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the website. If you want to show some additional support, become a YouTube or Patreon member for as low as $1 a month. And I think that's about all I got to say. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.